England, like the USA, has had a significant influence on the rest of the world, and, like the USA, it inspires various reactions. Many people think of England as a country with terrible weather and not very nice food, with people who are polite and perhaps a bit reserved and quite keen on tradition. Are these things true? Well, partly. With the Atlantic Ocean right at its doorstep, England does get a lot of rain and has a very changeable climate. But this makes for some beautiful, gentle, green landscapes and some stunning gardens, often attached to enormous mansions that are open to the public. As for English food, it is true that fish and chips, often deep fried and not very healthy, used to be considered the national dish. But Indian and Pakistani migration have helped make curry today's national dish, and several types of curry have been invented in England. And we mustn't forget that they invented the sandwich, and that they have a wide variety of tasty desserts and cheeses as well. Some traditions aren't really observed in modern England. For example, people don't have tea at 5 o'clock. Most drink it throughout the day, and more people are drinking coffee instead. However, there are many traditions that are valued by the English. The most obvious is the royal family, which divides opinion but brings millions of tourists to the country every year. Then there are the famous universities, above all Oxford and Cambridge, with their beautiful old grounds and very strong academic reputations. Some of the world's greatest scientific discoveries have been made here. Where would we be now without Isaac Newton, Charles Darwin, or Stephen Hawking? And there is tradition in its film, TV and theatre as well. Some TV soap operas and West End plays have run for years, and the first James Bond film was released in 1962. But England is not all just about preserving old traditions. England is home to some of the world's greatest rock bands and music festivals, some cool artists, and some world-famous designers. And what about that famous English politeness and reserve? That's also partly true. English people generally observe some quite strict rules of social interaction. You should shake hands with someone when you first meet them. You must say please when you ask for something, and thank you when it's given to you. And you probably shouldn't talk to strangers unless you're introduced to them. Perhaps these rules are part of living on a densely populated island. Perhaps if they weren't so into rules, we wouldn't have the sports that they invented, including football, tennis, rugby, and cricket. And perhaps without the normal reserve of everyday English life, they wouldn't have crazy traditions like these. So, maybe the stereotypes are partly true, but if so, they exist for a reason, and they help make England a fascinating place.